So I got a little bit of a late start, but I'm getting ready to do these rear springs, and I don't know, I'll get them done tonight. But yeah, these are a Ford Explorer rear leaf spring, 94, 96 or something like that. And I've got them mounted in the factory hangers on the YJ, and they've got a huge, I think it's from that bolt to the center pin is 30 inches, and from the center pin to the shackle is 25. And with that and my 42s, I don't have too much of a bad rear departure angle. But yeah, I mounted it, and as you can see, I mounted them up on the top of the bumper. But yeah, these things have worked great. The XJs, usually it takes 2 packs of springs to make one, and they sack out in 6, 8 months. Depends on how hard a wheeling you do. These have lasted 2 years, and yes, they are severely sacked out. I'm going to actually measure and see how much lower I am once I put the new front and rears in, but I'm probably a good 2.5 inches lower than I originally started. So, and the only thing I do with these is just pull this this big overload out and then flip the bolt over. And I don't know, these ones, the stock ones, are too long, so I just use an Allen wrench. They're grade 8, and yeah, they work good. But yeah, that's it. And then slap them in there, and like I say, you can kind of see from here all the way to there, and that's 30 something inches. 30, it's like 30 and 5/8, and then from there to there is 25 and 5/8 or something. So yeah, they got a heck of an offset on them. So if you're looking for something to try, definitely give these things a shot. And for every 8/8 rear end that goes into a YJ, TJ, Cherokee, whatever, there's a set of these laying around somewhere. So that's also another bonus. So yeah, we're just kind of getting these prepped tonight, and I'll probably get them thrown in tomorrow. So just because Sanford's made out of junkyard parts doesn't mean it's got to look like it. So I went ahead and I got these all wire wheeled up and stuff. Got most of the dirt and crust and rust and scale off them. So I'm going to rattle can them and give them the old rattle rebuild, and they'll look a little better in there. So I don't know, what else you going to do? Well, here's my fancy new springs. So another thing I forgot to mention on these is they have a reverse eye on both ends, which is, it helps keep it low, and supposed to help with spring wrap. I run a traction bar, so it probably helps a bit too, but the bar pretty much takes the most of it. But yeah, there's a lot of advantages to these springs if you're dumb enough to run leaf springs. Yeah, I mean, these things would work great. And like I say, they've got a massive offset. I think a regular YJ spring is 22 inches to the eye, or 24. And so you can either run these with a 25 and gain 1 inch of stretch, or you can flip it around like I just did, and I gained 5 inches of stretch. So yeah, there's a lot of versatility to these things. So if you're looking for something, like I say, give it a try. And it's my own homemade, kind of like the Moto built, shackle kit, but I did mine up off the top of the bumper just to keep things as low as I can. And my Jeep, when I first got it done, sat, it was I had another YJ with a spring under, 4-inch spring under on, they were 33s? Yeah, 33s. And this Jeep sat nose to nose with it. The hood heights were exactly the same, and I'm on 42s with a spring over. So that was the goal I was going after. I think at that time my belly height was 22 or 23 I have a completely flat belly. So yeah, but I was super happy with that. I had a higher belly height but the same hood height as the Jeep on a 4-inch spring under on 33s. So and then my front end, yeah, I don't know if I've ever showed this or not, but I actually sunk the eye of the spring up into the frame. I don't know if you can see it, but I notched it out and I had to outboard it just a hair. But yeah, so it's up in the frame, and that got everything sitting level. And these were Wagoneer front springs, and they kick it forward 2 or 2.5 inches forward. And I actually moved my front hanger forward too. And then same thing, shackle mounted off the top, and then I bobbed the bumper back as pretty much as far back as I could get the winch. And then yeah, that's kind of sunk in. So it took way more work to stay with leaf springs than it ever would to do a 4-link. But I kind of been doing this just to go back old school and kind of prove a point. I mean, this thing, I'm still running a carburetor on it. That's a Holly Truck Avenger on there. So, but I've gone pretty much anywhere I've pointed it, and I've ran some of the craziest trails, and it always seems to make everything look pretty easy. So I've been really happy with this, and that's why it's so hard for me to go to links and coilovers and everything, because I say this thing, I can drive it on its side and it is stable and it goes anywhere I point it. So yeah, like our title says, Sanford goes places.